Welcome to Hidden Black Legends. 12 black actors, 12 untold stories, one truth that Hollywood tried to bury. Some of these stars stood tall, fearlessly embracing who they were, no matter the cost. Others stayed silent, trapped by the same system that made them famous, yet could destroy them overnight. But one beloved black actor shocked the world, not with a scandal, but with honesty. He waited until the cameras stopped rolling, the lights faded, and the world had moved on. Then quietly he spoke his truth. No headlines, no drama, just courage in its purest form. Now here's the question. Which legendary 90s sitcom star came out decades later, long after walking away from Hollywood for good? Hit like if you think you know, drop your guess in the comments, or tap dislike if you're still unsure. And don't forget to subscribe to Hidden Black Legends, because this is just the beginning of the stories Hollywood never wanted you to hear. My Pfeiffer rose to fame in an era when black male actors were expected to be everything, magnetic, commanding, and above all, straight. Hollywood wasn't ready for complexity, and certainly not for truth. From his electrifying debut in Clockers, 1995, to his unforgettable portrayal of Dr. Greg Pratt on ER, Pfeiffer built a reputation as one of the most bankable black stars of his generation. But behind every spotlight lies a shadow. Fame came with conditions, success in exchange for silence. Pfeiffer learned early that in Hollywood, survival often meant keeping certain truths hidden. Twice married, a devoted father of two, he fit the image of the perfect leading man. On paper, his life was flawless. Yet, behind that polished facade, quiet whispers told a different story. Rumors of private relationships with men, carefully shielded from the cameras and public scrutiny. To be clear, Pfeiffer has never publicly identified as gay or bisexual, and he shouldn't have to. What makes his story powerful isn't scandal, but revelation. It exposes Hollywood's unspoken rule. For decades, especially for black men, authenticity came at the cost of opportunity. To live openly often meant to vanish. In recent years, Pfeiffer has redirected his passion toward independent cinema, mentorship, and philanthropy, championing STEM education for underserved youth. Though his mainstream spotlight has dimmed, his influence burns brighter than ever. He remains a respected voice in both entertainment and advocacy, redefining legacy beyond fame. Whether my Pfeiffer ever chooses to share his personal truth or not, his journey stands as a haunting reminder. In Hollywood, silence is rarely a choice, it's armor. So I'll leave you with this. Has Hollywood truly evolved, or are black men still being forced to hide who they are just to survive? Morris Chestnut. For more than 3 decades, his name has stood as a symbol of strength, sophistication, and a kind of Hollywood charm rarely afforded to black men on screen. Ever since his breakout role as Ricky in Boys in the Hood back in 1991, Chestnut has built a career that blends heart, integrity, and undeniable presence. From the emotional depth of the Best Man series to the commanding authority he brought to Fox's The Resident, he became the blueprint, the gold standard of black masculinity in modern cinema. Handsome, grounded, magnetic, but with that carefully crafted image came expectations and whispers. Despite being married to Pam Bice since 1995, raising 2 children, and consistently projecting the image of a devoted family man, Chestnut has never escaped Hollywood's favorite pastime: speculation. He's never identified as gay, and there's no evidence to suggest otherwise. Yet, the rumors persist, not because of scandal, but because of what his silence represents in an industry obsessed with exposure. Chestnut doesn't overshare. He doesn't chase controversy. He stays private, measured, and in control. But in an age where everyone's confession is content, silence often gets mistaken for secrecy. That mystery, deliberate or not, has fueled projection, sometimes unfair, sometimes revealing. It speaks to something deeper about Hollywood itself. For decades, black male actors have been denied the same freedom to explore identity that their white counterparts take for granted. A mere hint of ambiguity can end a career. And in that light, the question isn't about Morris Chestnut's truth. It's about the industry's discomfort with it. Still, through it all, his legacy endures untouched. In 2015, he released The Cut, a best-selling fitness and discipline guide that mirrored the very traits he embodies: control, resilience, and quiet power. Rumors may swirl, but his record, built on talent, grace, and consistency, speaks louder than any whisper. Morris Chestnut doesn't just play strongman. He is one. Jamie Foxx. Jamie Foxx, a man of many faces and even more mysteries. Actor, singer, comedian, and Oscar winner. For over 3 decades, he's lit up Hollywood with unforgettable performances, from Ray, 2004, to Collateral and Django Unchained. Few artists can shift so effortlessly between laughter, heartbreak, and raw power. But behind that charm and confidence lies a side of Jamie Foxx the world has barely seen: his private life. When the cameras stop rolling, Foxx becomes an enigma. Despite being linked to stars like Christina Milian and Katie Holmes, he's never married, never confirmed much, and always kept the truth just out of reach. That silence has fueled endless rumors, even whispers about his sexuality. But Foxx has addressed none of it. In one rare moment with Oprah, he explained that his privacy isn't about hiding himself. It's about protecting the people he loves most, especially his daughters. Let's be clear, Jamie Foxx has never publicly identified as gay, and there's no evidence to suggest it. What truly keeps the speculation alive is how fame distorts reality. When a black superstar guards his truth, the world starts writing its own story. Then came 2023. A sudden, mysterious medical emergency sent Foxx to the hospital and the internet into panic. Fans everywhere held their breath, praying for updates. When he finally recovered, relief swept across the world, but one question lingered: who is the real Jamie Foxx? His story reminds us of something deeper about Hollywood. Mystery is both armor and illusion. It shields a man from intrusion, yet invites the world to project its own fantasies. Whether Foxx is straight, gay, or simply private, one thing remains certain. Behind that magnetic smile lies a man who has mastered the art of silence. And perhaps that silence is his most powerful performance yet. Queen Latifah. Queen Latifah has never needed a label to command the world's respect. With a Grammy, an Emmy, a Golden Globe, and even an Oscar nomination to her name, she's built a multi-decade empire that spans music, television, and film, shattering barriers for Black women and redefining what it means to be powerful, fearless, and unapologetically authentic. From her groundbreaking rise in the late 1980s as one of hip-hop's first female rappers to her unforgettable performances in Living Single, Chicago, and Bessie, Queen Latifah, born Dana Owens, has spent her life defying expectations and rewriting the rules of success. Yet, while her professional journey has unfolded in the public eye, her personal life has always remained intentionally private. For years, tabloids whispered about her sexuality and long-term relationships, trying to fit her into Hollywood's narrow definitions. But Latifah never played that game. She offered no labels, no confirmations, only quiet confidence. Then, in 2021, as she accepted her Lifetime Achievement Award at the BET Awards, she ended her speech with radiant joy and a heartfelt thank you to Ebony, believed to be her longtime partner, choreographer Ebony Nichols. That brief moment of acknowledgement spoke louder than any interview ever could. Latifah has said she guards her private life not out of shame, but out of love and protection, for herself and for those closest to her. Race and gender are already heavy chains, she once noted. To be openly queer on top of that would have been another box they'd try to lock me in. Today, as the star of The Equalizer and a tireless advocate for equality and representation, Queen Latifah continues to lead by example. She reminds the world that visibility doesn't always require noise or spectacle. Sometimes, it only requires presence. And hers remains as powerful as ever. Trevante Rhodes. Trevante Rhodes didn't need 1,000 words to make the world listen. As the adult Chiron in Moonlight 2016, he delivered a performance so raw, so quietly powerful, that it redefined how black masculinity and queerness could be portrayed on screen. His presence was magnetic, still waters hiding a storm of emotion. When Moonlight won the Academy Award for Best Picture, it was Rhodes at the heart of it all, a man embodying both strength and fragility in equal measure. Born in Louisiana and raised in Texas, Rhodes first made his mark not in Hollywood, but on the track. A natural-born sprinter, he competed for the University of Texas and even won gold at the 2009 Pan American Junior Athletics Championships. But when he traded his running spikes for a script, he discovered a new kind of power, one rooted not in speed, but in truth. In Moonlight, Rhodes became a mirror for countless men navigating identity, love, and vulnerability in a world that rarely allows them to be soft. His portrayal was so authentic, it left many wondering how much of Chiron lived within him. But Rhodes has never felt the need to explain or label himself. Instead, he gave the world something more valuable: visibility. He brought humanity and depth to a story Hollywood had too long ignored, giving voice to those whose stories have been silenced. Unlike most rising stars, Rhodes has never chased fame. You won't find him posting for likes or living in the tabloids. His work in Bird Box, The Predator, and Mike, where he embodied the legendary Mike Tyson, proves his incredible range. Yet, he remains almost mythical in his privacy. In a world obsessed with exposure, Trevant Rhodes stands as a quiet rebellion, a man who doesn't need to explain himself because his art already speaks louder than words. Jussie Smollett. Jussie Smollett. For a fleeting moment, he stood on the edge of greatness, poised to become one of Hollywood's most groundbreaking black gay actors. As Jamal Lyon on Empire, Smollett wasn't just portraying an openly gay musician within a powerful black dynasty. He was living that truth. His performance shattered long-standing taboos in mainstream television, making him both a symbol and a voice for those who had rarely been seen. In March 2015, during a heartfelt interview with Ellen DeGeneres, Smollett spoke with unshakable pride. "There is no closet. There's never been a closet that I've been in." With that statement, he became more than a star. He became a beacon of representation. Bold, talented, and unapologetically authentic, Smollett used his rising fame to uplift LGBTQ plus youth and champion racial justice, especially for those living at the intersection of both worlds. But in January 2019, everything changed. Smollett claimed he was the victim of a brutal racist and homophobic attack on the streets of Chicago. The world rushed to his defense until the narrative began to crumble. Within weeks, investigators accused him of orchestrating the assault himself. By 2022, he was convicted of filing a false police report, sentenced to jail time, probation, and ordered to pay over $145,000 in fines and restitution. Still, Smollett never backed down. He maintained his innocence, and, in a dramatic turn of events, an Illinois appellate court vacated his conviction in early 2025, citing serious procedural flaws in the case. Today, his career remains in limbo. The spotlight that once crowned him has dimmed, yet his voice refuses to fade. He continues to speak out about justice, identity, and the cost of truth. Jussie Smollett's story is a paradox, part triumph, part tragedy, a tale that forces Hollywood and the public to face uncomfortable questions about fame, race, and authenticity. Whether viewed as a trailblazer, a cautionary figure, or both, his legacy remains as complex as the man himself. Doug Spearman. Doug Spearman is one of those rare Hollywood figures whose influence reaches far beyond screen. For many, he'll always be remembered as Professor Chance Counter from the groundbreaking series Noah's Ark, a show that between 2005 and 2006 dared to do what few others had the courage to: put the real lives of gay black men front and center. At a time when television either ignored or distorted their stories, Spearman stood tall, a confident, successful, openly gay man in a loving relationship. It wasn't just a role, it was a cultural revolution. But Spearman's journey didn't end when the cameras stopped rolling. Openly gay for decades, he evolved into a writer, director, and producer determined to tell the stories Hollywood was too afraid or too indifferent to tell. His 2013 film Hot Guys with Guns cleverly blended queer culture with the sleek style of a classic noir, while his 2019 film From Zero to I Love You delved deep into the emotional complexities of love, identity, and internalized shame within the Black gay community. These weren't just independent films. They were bold statements of truth, art, and defiance. Born in Washington, D.C., and raised in a family of educators, Spearman carried intellect, empathy, and purpose into everything he touched. Beyond his creative work, he became a fierce advocate for LGBTQ+ rights and a champion for greater representation of people of color in media. Through his company, Ogden Group Entertainment, he continues to mentor emerging talent and elevate stories that mainstream Hollywood still overlooks. Doug Spearman may never have chased blockbuster fame, but his legacy runs far deeper. With honesty, grace, and an unshakable voice, he helped reshape how America sees Black gay men, on screen and beyond. In an industry where silence once ruled, Doug Spearman chose to speak. And he's still speaking. Colman Domingo. Colman Domingo isn't just an actor, he's an experience. Every role he takes on feels alive, breathing with emotion and truth. From the fiercely compassionate Ollie in Euphoria to the enigmatic Victor Strand in Fear the Walking Dead, and his Tony-nominated performance in The Scottsboro Boys, Domingo doesn't simply perform, he transforms. His characters don't just speak, they resonate. They stay with you long after the credits roll. But beyond the stage lights and critical acclaim lies something far deeper: authenticity. Colman Domingo stands among the few openly gay Black actors in Hollywood who've built remarkable careers without compromising their identity. Born in Philadelphia in 1969, he began his journey on the stage, writing and performing stories that boldly explored race, masculinity, and sexuality, subjects many avoided, but he confronted with raw honesty and poetic grace. His success didn't come from hiding. It came from embracing, from turning truth into art. In 2005, fate connected him with Roel Acton through a chance online encounter, a love story that would blossom into marriage nearly a decade later. Domingo speaks of their relationship not with spectacle, but with sincerity, celebrating love for what it is: real, grounded, and revolutionary. In an industry where queer Black men are too often silenced or sidelined, Domingo carries both an honor and a weight: the rare visibility of being one of the only openly gay Black leading men in film and television. He's never shied away from that responsibility. And in 2024, it all came full circle when he earned an Academy Award nomination for Rustin, portraying Bayard Rustin, a civil rights icon and fellow gay Black man who fought for equality in the face of prejudice. That nomination wasn't just an acknowledgement of talent, it was a declaration, a moment that said authenticity and artistry can coexist, and together they can change the world. For Colman Domingo, truth isn't just part of the performance, it's the performance. Kenan Lonsdale. Kenan Lonsdale represents a new wave of artists who refuse to choose between authenticity and success. Born in 1991 to a Nigerian father and an Australian mother of Irish descent, Lonsdale first captured the world's attention as Wally West, Kid Flash, in The Flash and Legends of Tomorrow. But his true power didn't come from wearing a superhero suit. It came from the courage to live his truth. In 2017, at just 25, Lonsdale took to Instagram with a bold confession: "I like girls and I like guys. I'm not going to fake smile anymore." That single post sent ripples across the world, a moment of raw honesty that inspired countless people who'd felt unseen. Just a year later, he appeared in Love, Simon, one of Hollywood's first mainstream films centered on a gay teen romance. It was more than a role, it was poetic timing. An actor embracing his identity both on screen and in real life. But acting was only the beginning. Through his music and fashion, Lonsdale has continued to challenge the boundaries of gender and sexuality. Songs like Kiss the Boy and Rainbow Dragon became fearless anthems of self-expression and queer pride. On every red carpet, his bold, fluid style radiates confidence and liberation. He doesn't just walk, he glows. Identifying as queer and non-binary, Lonsdale has always rejected the idea of being defined by labels. For him, identity is rooted in love, love for oneself, for creativity, and for freedom. He's been candid about the fear that once silenced him, the worry that truth would end his career. Instead, it became his superpower. Today, Keenan Lonsdale stands not just as an actor or a musician, but as a symbol of courage, a voice for those still finding their own. In a world obsessed with fitting in, he reminds us that the greatest act of rebellion is simply to be yourself. Daryl Stevens. Daryl Stevens. Long before Hollywood celebrated LGBTQ plus visibility, he was already living his truth, both on screen and off. Best known for his groundbreaking role as Noah Nicholson in Noah's Ark, 2005 to 2006. Stevens portrayed a black gay man navigating love, heartbreak, and self-worth with a tenderness rarely seen on television. At a time when queer characters of color were either erased or confined to the margins, Noah was nothing short of revolutionary, and Daryl Stevens quietly became an icon. Before Noah's Ark, Stevens had already been carving his path with roles in The Bold and the Beautiful and MTV's Undressed. But when creator Patrick Ian Polk brought Noah's Ark to life, the first U.S. series centered on the lives of gay black men, it shattered barriers. Noah wasn't a stereotype. He was gentle, romantic, flawed, and deeply human. Stevens embodied him with a sincerity and grace that made audiences truly see him. Openly gay from the beginning, Stevens refused to hide who he was, even when it cost him opportunities. "I was seen as too gay for straight roles, and too black for others," he once revealed. Hollywood doors often closed, but rather than give up, he evolved, becoming a writer and advocate for underrepresented voices. His 2011 novel Shortcomings and 2015 memoir required reading peeled back layers of identity, desire, and self-acceptance with striking honesty. Today, Stevens continues to act, write, and mentor with the same authenticity that once made Noah a symbol of quiet strength. He may not dominate the tabloids, but his influence runs deep, shaping a generation of queer storytellers who now stand proudly in the light. Daryl Stevens reminds us that true courage isn't always loud. Sometimes it's the quiet act of living authentically in a world that tells you not to. Jeremy Pope. Jeremy Pope stands as living proof of what Hollywood once swore could never exist. A young, openly gay black man thriving on stage and screen without apology. With a voice that fills theaters and a presence that commands every camera, Pope didn't just walk through Hollywood's doors, he kicked them open. In 2019, he made history as only the sixth performer ever to earn 2 Tony Award nominations in a single year. One for Choir Boy and another for Ain't Too Proud. At just 27, Pope wasn't chasing applause. He was rewriting the script for what was possible. And he did it all while living his truth, boldly, fearlessly, and without compromise. A year later, he joined Ryan Murphy's Hollywood, a daring reimagining of post-war Tinseltown that asked, what if black queer talent had been given a fair shot from the start? As Archie Coleman, a gay black screenwriter fighting a racist, homophobic system, Pope wasn't just performing. He was testifying. "I was telling my own story in many ways," he later admitted. But his artistry doesn't stop at acting. Pope is also a gifted singer-songwriter whose smooth R&B and gospel-inspired soul makes self-love sound revolutionary. His single Feel So Good became an anthem of queer joy and liberation. In 2023, he reached another milestone. His first Academy Award nomination for The Inspection, a searing performance based on filmmaker Elegance Bratton's real-life struggle as a gay Marine recruit. Through it all, Pope has remained grounded, using his platform not for fame, but for truth. "I don't want to be the exception," he told Variety. "I want to be the new normal." 12 actors, 12 lives lived at the intersection of talent and truth. Some shouted their identity from the rooftops, others whispered it just to survive. Yet each of them, like Jeremy Pope, redefine what Hollywood dares to imagine a black man can be. So, here's the question. Is the industry truly changing? Or are we still celebrating courage in a system that punishes honesty? If you notice anything we should correct, let us know so we can keep improving. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more stories of the famous, the fearless, and the unforgettable.